So you probably think colours are just colours, a way to paint your bedroom, pick a sweater, or argue with strangers on the internet about whether a dress is blue and black or white and gold. But here's the thing, colours are not neutral. They are sneaky little manipulators that crawl into your brain and start pulling levers you didn't even know existed. Yes, your nervous system is basically a puppet, and the puppeteer might just be a shade of green. Hello, and welcome back. Today we're diving into the strange, sometimes scientific, sometimes ridiculous world of colour psychology. Before we begin this semi-professional psychological breakdown, do me a favour. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me what other psychological mysteries you want explained. Because apparently YouTube clicks now pay better than unfinished PhDs. Now, what exactly is colour psychology? At its core, it is the study of how different colours influence human emotions, behaviours, and even physiological responses. And no, this is not just woo-woo interior decorator talk. Research has consistently shown that certain colours can raise your heart rate, shift your mood, or even affect your decision-making. For example, studies in marketing show that up to 90% of snap judgments about products can be based on colour alone. 90%. Imagine working your whole life to perfect the flavour of your energy drink, only to find out people rejected it because the can was the wrong shade of orange. And this is not new knowledge. Ancient Egyptians painted healing sanctuaries with blues and greens because they believed those colours had calming effects. Medieval monks used bright reds in manuscripts because, well, they thought God liked it dramatic. Fast forward to the 20th century and you have psychologists like Kurt Goldstein arguing that warm colours like red and yellow stimulate the nervous system, while cool colours like blue and green calm it down. So basically, people have been blaming colours for their moods for thousands of years. But let's break it down a little. Take red, for example. Red is the psychological equivalent of a caffeine shot mixed with an air horn. It increases heart rate, raises blood pressure, and is strongly associated with passion, aggression, and appetite. This is why restaurants love using red in their logos. It makes you hungrier. Ever notice how McDonald's, KFC, and Pizza Hut are basically all just different shades of edible red? That's not an accident. But red is also the colour of danger. Stop signs, warning labels, and your bank account after holiday shopping all scream in red. Studies even show that athletes wearing red uniforms are statistically more likely to win matches, possibly because they look more intimidating, which means your high school coach wasn't wrong. He was just unconsciously manipulating colour psychology. Now compare that to blue. Blue is basically your brain's melatonin. It is calm, trustworthy, stable. Banks love blue logos because it screams reliability. Social media platforms also love blue, but let's be honest, Twitter being calm and trustworthy is the psychological equivalent of putting a band-aid on a shark bite. Still, research shows blue environments actually lower stress and improve focus. There is a reason offices paint their walls blue, although unfortunately, no shade of blue has ever made a PowerPoint presentation interesting. Then there is yellow, the colour of sunshine and happiness, in theory. Psychologically, yellow is linked with optimism, creativity, and energy. But here's the twist. Too much yellow can trigger anxiety. Studies show that babies actually cry more in yellow-painted rooms. So while you might think painting your nursery yellow is cheerful, what you have actually built is a crying chamber. Congratulations. And then there is green, which is fascinating because it is nature's screensaver. Research shows that green spaces reduce stress, boost mood, and even improve recovery rates in hospitals. This is why hospital scrubs are green or blue, not say bright orange with polka dots. Nobody wants to wake up from surgery looking at a doctor who resembles a traffic cone. But here's where it gets really weird. Colours don't just affect mood, they affect behaviour. A famous example is the Baker-Miller pink experiment. In the 1970s, researchers Alexander Schaus and John Ott claimed that painting prison cells a specific shade of bubblegum pink reduced aggression in inmates. At first, the results looked promising. Guards reported calmer behaviour, but after a while, the effect wore off, and some inmates even became more aggressive once they got used to it. So basically, pink worked like your New Year's resolutions. Exciting at first, completely abandoned after 3 weeks. Another example is retail psychology. Supermarkets actually use colour strategically to control your shopping behaviour. Red tags make sales look urgent. Green packaging makes you think food is healthier. Black packaging screams premium, even if what's inside is just water with a fancy label. And if you're wondering why casinos look like a rainbow threw up on the carpet, that's deliberate. They use bright, stimulating colours to keep your brain alert and gambling at 3 in the morning. Because nothing says rational decision-making like betting your rent money while staring at neon purple carpet swirls. Now you might ask, but is all this universal? Do colours affect everyone the same way? Great question. The answer is, sort of, but not really. Cultural differences play a huge role. In Western cultures, white often symbolises purity and weddings. In some Eastern cultures, white is associated with mourning and funerals. Red can symbolise luck in China, but danger in the United States. So while some biological reactions to colour, like increased heart rate, are fairly universal, the meaning we attach to those colours is heavily shaped by culture. In other words, your brain's reaction to colour is part biology, part social programming, and part personal trauma from that time you wore neon green pants in middle school. But here's where things get even stranger. Colours don't just influence emotion and behaviour, they can also affect performance. A 2007 study published in Science found that students who saw the colour red before an exam performed worse than those who saw blue or green. Why? Because red is associated with mistakes, failure, and danger. It basically primes your brain for panic. On the flip side, blue and green improve creativity and problem solving, which explains why brainstorming in a sterile white conference room feels like trying to write poetry inside a tax form. And of course, marketers and designers exploit this constantly. Fast food chains, clothing brands, tech companies all carefully pick colours to manipulate your perception. Ever wonder why almost every social media platform is blue? Because they want you to feel calm, safe, and addicted. Calmly addicted. It is like tricking your brain into thinking doom scrolling is self-care. So where does this leave us? Well, the next time you walk into a bright yellow cafe, notice how cheerful you feel at first, until the existential dread kicks in after your third coffee. Or when you buy a healthy snack in green packaging and realise it still has enough sugar to knock out a horse. Or when you're on a date and you realise the restaurant strategically used red lighting so you both confuse adrenaline for attraction. Because here is the truth. Colour psychology is real, but it is not absolute. It influences, nudges, and manipulates, but it doesn't control. Your brain is not a robot programmed by paint swatches. It is more like a tired intern who is very suggestible. So to sum it up, colours are not just decoration. They are psychological influencers, mood manipulators, and behavioural nudges. They can calm you, stress you out, make you hungry, or make you gamble away your paycheck. And while culture shapes the meaning, your nervous system still reacts to the wavelength of light hitting your eyeballs. In short, colour psychology is one more reminder that humans are not rational creatures. We are just apes in shoes, emotionally bullied by the rainbow. And on that cheerful note, I'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching this deep dive into the colourful world of human psychology. Don't forget to subscribe because nothing would make me happier than knowing you were manipulated by the soothing grey subscribe button. See you next time.